Good evening and thank you for joining us. The government took over the Tai Lam Tunnel at midnight last night and reduced the tolls for all types of vehicles. The tunnel was closed to traffic at 3 a.m. for the switchover from manual or auto toll collection to the Hong Kong e-toll system. It reopened after 5 a.m. with the Hong Kong e-toll system in effect. Samantha Lee reports.
After the government's takeover of the Tai Lam Tunnel, traffic was light on the first day. With the launch of the HKE toll system and the time-varying tolls, the Transport Department said traffic flows in both directions were generally smooth. This driver said the new tolls are cheaper, compared to at least $100 for return trips in the past. He added that the Tai Lam Tunnel provides an alternative to Two Moon Road, which is usually congested. The 3.8-kilometer tunnel connecting Yunnan and Tinkau was taken over by the government starting today. At the stroke of midnight, the government took over the tunnel. From 3 a.m. to 5 a.m., it was closed for the switchover from manual or auto toll collection to the HKE toll system. The tunnel then reopened after 5 a.m., with the new toll collection system up and running. The toll gantries have been set up on the Yunnan side of the tunnel. Under the new tolls, private cars will be charged $18 on public holidays, Sundays, and during non-peak hours on weekdays, while the tolls for peak hours on weekdays will be lowered to $45 and $30 for normal time slots. Taxis and other commercial vehicles will be charged a fixed toll on all days at $28 and $43 respectively. The Transport Department estimates the new time-varying toll system can help alleviate Two Moons Road traffic flow by 5%. Meanwhile, Ringo Lee, Honorary Life President of the Hong Kong-China Automobile Association, believes auto toll, which was rolled out in 1998, will be completely phased out soon. He has reminded motorists to reclaim their $150 deposit and the remaining value of their auto toll account when they cancel the account. Samantha Lee, TVB News.
U.S. President Donald Trump has accused China of violating a bilateral agreement to roll back tariffs, at the same time announcing a doubling of duties on steel and aluminium to 50%. This a day after Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said talks with China during a 90-day pause in high tariffs had stalled a bit. Beijing hit out at U.S. export controls and urged Washington to adhere to the consensus reached during talks in Geneva earlier in May. Nasir Karim with more.
No more Mr. Nice Guy, says U.S. President Donald Trump, referring to trade talks with China. On a Truth Social post, he wrote that China has totally violated its agreement with us. He addressed the issue at the Oval Office, saying he will speak to President Xi Jinping.
Well, they did. They violated a big part of the agreement we made. You know, if you read that whole statement, I was very nice to them. I helped them because they were in trouble with the stoppage of a massive amount of business. But I'm sure that I'll speak to President Xi and hopefully we'll work that out. But yeah, there's a violation of the agreement.
U.S. and Chinese officials met in Geneva in mid-May, during which both sides agreed to climb down from massive tariffs on each other's imports. Reports say China is moving slower than promised on issuing export license for rare earth minerals, crucial in the U.S. for semiconductors, electronics and defense. The U.S. has ordered many of its companies to stop shipping goods to China without a license, involving products such as design software, chemicals for semiconductors, machine tools and aviation equipment. Liu Pengyu, a spokesperson for Beijing's embassy in Washington, raised concerns about U.S. export controls, urging the U.S. to cease discriminatory restrictions against China and jointly uphold the consensus reached at Geneva talks. Trump, meanwhile, held a rally at U.S. Steel's Mon Valley Works Irvine plant in West Mifflin, Pennsylvania, where he said he would raise tariffs on steel and aluminium products.
We are going to be imposing a 25% increase. We're going to bring it from 25% to 50%, the tariffs on steel into the United States of America, which will even further secure the steel industry in the United States.
Trump also lauded an agreement for Japan's Nippon Steel to invest in U.S. steel, though details of the collaboration are vague. Trump said the company will stay American and will be led by an American. Nazri Karim, TVB News.
The cost-cutting Department of Government Efficiency has been marked by mixed outcomes and controversy. Some civil servants who were fired under the sweeping government cuts argue Elon Musk's efforts were not about trimming government spending, but about paving the way for big corporations to profit. Benjamin here is a wildlife biologist with the U.S. Forest Service. The job encompasses monitoring flora and fauna, conducting environmental impact assessments, responding to wildfires, and mitigating landslides across national forests. At one time, Benjamin described his job as a dream. But he, along with more than 3,400 others, was dismissed with immediate effect in mid-February. No severance, no warning. The order came from the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, part of President Trump's controversial push to cut federal spending.
What's humiliating was hearing Donald Trump say, we're saving money and cutting government wasteful spending, bragging as if they're doing something good for the American people. When they fire someone like me, maybe they're saving money tomorrow, but that's a cost that's going to come back to us.
Following a judicial review, Benjamin returned to his job 6 weeks after his dismissal.
From DOGE's perspective, I'm a regulator and they want me out of the way so that corporations can run wild. They're trying to make it easier for billionaires to earn money.
After the firing saga, Benjamin once confronted Musk in Congress.
I turn around and say, hey, Mr. Musk. I grab his attention and I say, am I waste? And he says, who are you? And I say, I'm a biologist. And after so many words, as I recall, he just says, no, I don't think we really need you here. And I tell him, I disagree, you're wrong.
With Musk stepping down, Benjamin has this to say.
Elon Musk, you gave me the push I needed to find my voice, to speak up, and to say that this is wrong. So I think that what he's doing for this country is a horrible disservice. I think the only people he's trying to help are himself.
With the U.S. fiscal deficit this year expected to reach $1.8 trillion, Benjamin said the key lies in streamlining the overly convoluted government processes instead of sacking people who are working to solve problems.
You have to invest in hiring people who know the system, because those are the people that know how to fix it, not some 20-year-old tech genius hired by DOGE that's just going to slash and burn everything with a machete.
Back locally is Dragon Boat Festival today. Dragon boat races have brought festive spirit across Hong Kong as crowds gather to celebrate the centuries-old legend of loyalty and remembrance. Against the beat of drums, paddlers rode in perfect rhythm or sliced through the water. One team, one heartbeat, fighting the winds and waves for glory. The annual Dragon Boat Championships at Stanley Main Beach drew 190 teams across 51 races this year. Mr. Wang here said they have taken first place for 9 years, noting that teamwork is their winning edge, so they're here to keep that streak alive.
The boats are heavy, they're used to it, they're designed for it, and we're strong, so we can handle the weight.
Spectators also line the shore to soak in the festive spirit. Mrs. Lee, who brought her child to watch, said it's not that hot and the atmosphere is good.
It's a bit, colorful, and thank God the weather is also very nice right now. So yeah, I think it's really good to be here.
Beyond the intense races, teams brought flair to the waterfront with a costume contest. Even Ne Zha, the mythical boy warrior recently repopularized by a Chinese hit animation film, joined the fun, not to stir the seas, but to celebrate alongside the Dragon King. This contestant said Ne Zha has been trending again, especially from the movie, so they brought him to life here. Miss Lo here said last year she dressed up as a Barbie doll, and she's back with another iconic getup. In Shatin's Shingmun River, another set of races kicked off with just as much enthusiasm, with riveted spectators watching on. In Tai, fishermen upheld a dragon boat deity parade tradition. Celine Chan reports.
3 fishing associations from Tai O retrieved deity statues after plucking the greens and prayed for the community. They invited the deities of Tai O, Yang Hao, Tin Hao, Quan Tai, and Hong Xing from their respective temples. Carrying the sacred deities on boat, dragon boats led deity-laden sampans through winding waterways, blessing the community with calm seas and health. Tai O residents lined the streets to welcome the deities. The statues were carried to the Fishing Association's hall and then sent back to their own temples after the ritual.
The dragon boat teams appear sporadically along the waterways, making them difficult to catch. In order to boost their chances of actually seeing them, some enthusiasts gather near the dragon boat mooring pontoon to get the perfect snap. Legend has it that a plague was spread through the remote village over a century ago, and local residents held the deity parade to drive out the evil spirits that caused the plague. This traditional ritual was inscribed on China's third national list of intangible cultural heritage in 2011. Ms. Sito, who works as a teacher, took video of the ritual to show her students, hoping to pass the heritage to the next generation. Ms. Bai, a tourist from the mainland, came all the way from Zhuhai to Tai O to check out the village dragon boat races. However, shop owners shared that their sales decreased by 30% to as much as 50%, attributing the drop to the poor economic environment and the northbound shopping wave. They hope the government will enhance the promotion of Tai O and other tourist spots and attract more tourists to the village. Celine Chan, TVB News.
A mini holiday for the Dragon Boat Festival kicks off in the mainland today. As of 4 p.m., Hong Kong welcomes some 237,000 tourists, while more than 389,000 people left the city. The Hong Kong Tourism Board today launches a 9-day carnival in Tsim Sha Tsui. Samantha Lee has the story.
Even without actually taking part in the dragon boat races, revelers can still feel the high spirits along the Tsim Sha Tsui promenade. Props of twin panda cubs Jia Jia and De De, together with 4 giant pandas, also appear in festive attire, inviting visitors to join in with the celebrations. 10 food and beverage stalls featured themed products, such as rice dumplings and rice pops. These stallholders said they were selling dragon boat red bean pastry with pandan cake. This mainland tourist said she gave each of her children $100 to buy their favorite food. She said the food here was more expensive than in the mainland. The Dragon Boat Food Day will span 2 weekends, where revelers can enjoy international dragon boat races, which will be held at the next weekend. Speaking on a radio program, Secretary for Culture, Sports and Tourism Rosanna Law said she expected 16% more inbound visitors compared to normal days. She said Hong Kong is full of attractions and events, and the government will gear up to welcome visitors. Samantha Lee, TVB News.
Welcome back. Torrents of rain unleashed flooding that killed at least 151 people in a market town in northern Nigeria. Roads in Mokwa in Niger State in central Nigeria had turned into rivers as people tried to escape to dry land. Many caught up in the natural disaster are farmers who went to the town to sell their goods. A previously long dry spell now replaced by torrential rain. Trucks found it difficult to get through, with some coming close to toppling over. Around 50 buildings were swept away, with others submerged. Foreign Minister Wang Yi concluded his 3-day visit to Hong Kong. The motorcade carrying Wang Yi left the office of the Commissioner of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Hong Kong this morning. Wang arrived at the airport at about 10 a.m. and departed by chartered flight. During his 3-day stay in Hong Kong, Wang attended the signing ceremony of the Convention of the International Organization for Mediation and met with representatives of multiple countries. U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has launched strongly worded criticism of China at the Shangri-La Dialogue in Singapore. He said the threat from China is real and could be imminent, as he urged other Asian countries not to become economically reliant on China. David Garrett with more.
US Defence Secretary Pete Hegseth had already been meeting leaders and allies in Singapore. Australian Deputy Prime Minister and Defence Minister Richard Marles was one. Thailand's Deputy Prime Minister received a warm handshake. Hegseth and Philippine Defence Secretary Gilberto Teodoro discussed the absence of China's Defence Minister Dong Jun. And Hegseth said it was an honour to be greeted and hosted by Singapore's Prime Minister Lawrence Wong as he prepared to speak at the Shangri-La Dialogue.
We do not seek conflict with Communist China. We will not instigate nor seek to subjugate or humiliate. President Trump and the American people have an immense respect for the Chinese people and their civilization. But we will not be pushed out of this critical region. And we will not let our allies and partners be subordinated and intimidated. China seeks to become a hegemonic power in Asia, no doubt.
Hegseth then launched a blistering criticism.
China harasses its neighbors, many of which are here in the room today. China seeks to intimidate you in your own water. Again, to be clear, any attempt by Communist China to conquer Taiwan by force would result in devastating consequences for the Indo-Pacific and the world. There's no reason to sugarcoat it. The threat China poses is real, and it could be imminent. We hope not, but it certainly could be.
The commitment underscored by US Secretary of Defence Hegseth today that the Indo-Pacific is the United States' strategic priority is deeply welcome. The reality is that there is no effective balance of power in this region absent the United States. But we cannot leave it to the United States alone.
European leaders also in Singapore after Emmanuel Macron had told Hegseth in the audience that France does not want daily instruction on what is and is not allowed, the EU warning about North Korea's alliance with Russia.
North Korea directly contributes to the illegal aggression with soldiers, arms and ammunition. And China says it's neutral, but its dual-use experts are fueling Russia's war. When China and Russia speak of leading together, the change is not seen in 100 years, and of revisions of the global security order, we should all be extremely worried.
Japanese Prime Minister Gen Nakatani sitting alongside Callas and also speaking from a similar hymn sheet. He accused Russia and China of undermining the effectiveness of international law, which he says threatens a peaceful international community. Nakatani met with Hegseth, whose stinging comments were backed up by US allies in the absence of a high-level delegation from China. David Garrett, TVB News.
And that's the news. Thank you for watching.